Okay, so we talk about how we're going to do narrative. We could have these narrative packets, and each packet would contain a set of variables, or maybe only one, and each packet could be applied where and when it was needed, and something like that. I don't know. I hesitate to nail things down into packets. I want it to flow, I want it to be, you know... So you talk about the butterfly, and, you know, if you just look at it, it triggers a passive observance packet. And if you kill it, then it triggers a retribution packet, and Mothra comes down and, like, attacks you. But see, now you're into this other thing again, where the most interesting stuff comes from doing the bad thing. You know, like, oh man, did you get that awesome battle with Mothra? No, I never ran into that. Oh man, what you have to do is kill the innocent butterfly. Oh, okay. And you kill the innocent butterfly, and then Mothra comes, and that's cool. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so that doing the right thing is the coolest thing for you. You know? It's a very different way of thinking. If the game is built in such a way that the mechanic of the game can self-generate the appropriate response rather than every response having to be entirely scripted, then the game can be quite large without everything having to be planned in detail. Right. It's got to be full analog. It's got to be reactive. It's got to be procedural. It's got to be. It comes out of the woodwork. It can react to whatever you might do. Okay. So, you know, we go to the self-scripted thing, that's cool. Then you say, this of course begins to give us a structure for the goal the player has. Perhaps this might be characterized as climbing a mountain to consult with an oracle who then delivers a psychological assessment of some kind to the player. No! No, there's no ending! You just keep learning as much as you want to learn. Like, you imagine, I don't know, that would be kind of dumb. Like, here's the ultimate goal of the game, get to the top of this mountain and consult with this oracle. You know, you get to the top, oh, oracle, what is my, oh, just a moment, I'll give you a psychological assessment. It's printing out. Here you go. You are retarded. you know. That's actually not a psychological assessment, precisely. Anyway. You know, what, it's all just a test? It's all just a personality test, and this is what you are. Click. You are a bad person. The end. No, you're supposed to keep going and learning, and you come to your own conclusions about, you know, who you are. It's not presented discreetly. And obviously you said an assessment of some kind, right, but you still seem to have this idea of, we gotta have this goal, and we've gotta get there, and then we've gotta stop. That's not how life works, right? You have goals in life, but you get to one, and then you move on to the next one, and the next, and the next, and you keep going. There's not a point where, like, well, I'm done with life now. Nothing left to do. Nothing left to learn. Nothing left to... I want the player to be able to use this as long as he likes. As long as there's anything left to learn in the world, the game should be able to adapt and react and help him see that. You know? To act as kind of an emotional mirror, as I said, right? So whatever you are, it can help show you what you are. And whatever you are, that's useful information, isn't it? Yeah, that is useful information. No matter where you go in life. It's nice to know what you are at the current time. Or at least what the game thinks you are. Okay. In classical narrative terms, at this point you lack an antagonist. The protagonist is clearly defined, but the one who opposes him is absent. So what? What's the antagonist in SimCity? Because the antagonist is like the idea of having a bad city. I'm fighting the basic idea of having a bad city by making a good city. Okay, so my antagonist is emotional ignorance, which isn't the same as empathy, by the way. I mean, like, not knowing who you are emotionally. So your antagonist is this ignorance, and so you want to learn. But it doesn't have to be a discrete antagonist. It'll be expressed in 1,000 different ways. It'll be various beasts and various forces of nature and various, but not everything's like working together under the banner of one common enemy, and all shall fear him, and then you go to the final boss battle, and then you kill him, and then you're done. No. Alright, so let's see here. If you allow the player to succeed by any means, then he will succeed regardless as long as he completes the task to set in the game. Right, the task is to increase your own emotional intelligence. So then I guess you do succeed if you do that. But it's not as if, oh, I'm missing an obvious protagonist. That makes things easier. What's the obvious protagonist of the obvious antagonist of real life people? Like, you know what I mean? What is the antagonist that causes all the problems in your life, or my life, or whatever? It's not a particular discrete thing, is it? We can sum it up in, like, with terms of, like, the devil or whatever is the source of all evil things. Well, yes, but it's not as if I can go down by 3rd Street and go stab the devil and win the game! You don't think of it that way. It's in everything. Alright, so, you mentioned Tomb Raider and how, it was originally, there's really no choice of how you could go about the game, right? And it was essentially just this linear path you had to follow. And how later they made it so you could have various artificial paths, not artificial. You could have, branching paths. You can go this way or that way, and then you end up getting into the same ending or whatever. And people kind of thought that was gimmicky because they missed big chunks of the game that way. Like, right, but see, we're meant to tailor this so whichever path you end up taking is the path which is literally best for you, right? Which is most revealing to you, because it's about you, the player. So no one will be like, oh, I missed the part where I'm, I don't know. Let's say your main problem in life. I mean, it's so dumb to say your main problem in life. But let's say you have a problem with being cowardly, and you want to learn something of courage, right? And the game kind of detects you being cowardly and in some way starts to teach you this. Now, the guy who plays through this and hopefully eventually learns to have some courage, even in the context of the game, that can still apply to real life. He's not going to say like, "Oh, I missed the part where I was foolhardy and they had to dumb me down so I'm courageous but also wise." Like, he's not going to be disappointed that he missed being somebody else. It's about being you, It's about that's what you're looking for, It's not like anyone looks in a mirror and they're disappointed to see their own face. Like, oh, dang it, I was hoping to see somebody else's face today. Like, that wouldn't really work. That wouldn't make sense. You look in the mirror to see yourself. You play this game to understand yourself. And so this infinite branching thing we have is all based on you. And all the branches you don't take them because that's not who you are. And so you miss everything that you weren't actually interested in looking at in the first place. Kind of. Obviously, a player might be playing without the explicit notion to understand himself. He might just be playing for experience, I guess. But really, you act as yourself, and that gets you the most interesting stuff for yourself. Plays off of your emotions, specifically. Very interesting that way.